Laura Lee Mystica and I, Nancy Bliss, welcome you to our 9th Inside Insights interview, where Laura Lee will give you updates on recent extraordinary happenings since the 18th of March, when Hal told Laura Lee to, quote, take command of the power of the hologram, then go to sleep. So let's hear what she has to say after she woke up the next day.
Well, the next day was just fine. It was like birds were singing. It was all happy. And then the day after that, it's like all hell broke loose, mayhem everywhere. A lot of our people on our hologram rescue team had been absolutely immobilized, including you, huh?
Yeah.
And it was just one thing after another. I'll go into more detail, but I had things messing with my chickens. I had a chicken that kept getting possessed by like really weird things like an amoeba. And when I put her to bed one night, she said, help me. I said, I'm trying. But she would like go after the other one and just like out for blood. She was like, she wasn't herself. And there was just all sorts of crazy things. I was like up to my eyeballs in helping people that had been hit really bad. And we'll go into that another time. I'm still kind of waiting for the dust to settle. I'm getting that we're mostly through it, but I just wanted a heads up to any of you that might be on the front lines that got hit and you thought you were going to die. All of these were kind of death assaults and immobilizing people, like lower back, neck, arm pain, to the point that you couldn't move. And I think we're through that, and so I'll give like a better, in-depth, and step-by-step what happened next and what happened next and what happened next after we kind of get out of the woods. But I just want everybody to know, if this is happening to you, just say, I'm going to get through this. It's just crazy stuff, and I'm not going to die. Okay? So just a little background on that. So let's see. I guess first we could talk about, and we did this last week, but with the timelines, I keep checking, and there's still only 5, but there are all sorts of glamours and overlays and fake realities and AI tech systems schmoozing and duping to make us think that they're still there and there's still godzillions of them. And so when you see things on timelines, don't go, oh, that's the way it is. Like, do some background check and see if it's a bunch of baloney, and if it is, and if you have the wherewithal, start cleaning this stuff up. You know, I'm doing all I can. The rest of our HRT is doing all we can to clean this mess up. So if you would like to lend us a hand, we'd be more than happy to do that. But it's just really nice. It's even with all the mayhem that's been happening, it's nice to know that there's not mega gazillions of timelines looping and inner looping and outer looping to mess us over and to try to control us. And so there's that. And then something came on my radar called, I named it, called Project Life Improvement. And this came to me when I was having a lot of challenges with a lot of assholes on my tail, like the last week or so with all this mayhem that was happening. And what I was getting is that I needed to make a list every day of the things that I've done or the things that have been done for me that improve my life. And so I sat there and, sometimes it can be little things and you think, okay, well, that happened and I made that happen and yeah, it's an improvement. And what it will do is change your mood because you feel like you're getting a handle on things and that you're in charge. The Dark Lords do not want us to think that we're in charge. They want us to think that they're in charge, which they have been, for a long, long time. But we're in charge now, and we're not going to have any of that. We're not going to have their stupid schmoozing telling us that they're in charge instead of us. So just changing your mood will help you kind of get out of these pits of gloom and doom that they've been trying to press on us. And it's also a key to activating our superpowers. You can see evidence of how you can influence your life and others, and this can go way beyond your expectations. It's like taking conscious command and not saying, oh, okay, so the Dark Lords kind of kicked me and I fell over. You don't have to stay down. You can get back up again. And doing this project life improvement certainly helps that. And it's really nice to go back and pat yourself on the back for improvements that you have been instrumental in, like I said, either for yourself or for someone else. Or maybe you had some buddies that helped you out and improved your life, or even your minute or your hour or whatever. It doesn't have to be your whole, decades and decades of life. Even if it's a few days, if you get improvement for a few days, that's still improvement. So I just wanted to kind of put that out there. And Nancy, do you have any comments or anything on this?
I like that a lot. Just you're feeling a little down to see how far we've come, and even just since the winter solstice on the 20th of December, an enormous amount has occurred of positive things.
Yes, it has, and if we never look at it, it doesn't get to integrate in us. If we're always looking at all the horrible things that are going on, it's really hard to take your power back and make change. Because your focus is not on what you can do, it's what you can't do, and so it's like, okay, I can't do this and this and this, but I could do this. And so it really helps you get out of the clutches of the Dark Lords by having this, if you do it once a day, it's like, okay, I'm getting ready to go to bed, or I just got up in the morning, let me make my little list of project life improvement, and then just see where it goes from there, and see if there isn't a noticeable change in the outcomes of what's been happening in your life after you do that. So I thought that was like way cool. And I just want to apologize to everybody. Just before we got on this call, my voice started cracking up, and not in a funny way. It starts crackling. So let me get another drink here. It's getting pretty cracky. Hold on. Okay. So the next thing on the list is after all this mayhem, and it was kind of happening before, but I have a HRT buddy that had contacted me, and he was just not doing well. And it's like he could smell people that had the jab. And he said it would come in with these whiffs. He said it was like almost debilitating and making him sick. And then he started feeling the the negative effects of the aftermath of what they had felt or they would feel. And here goes my voice again, cracking like a frog. Hold on. I guess this is kind of important, so they're making me sound like a frog. And I like frogs. I don't mind sounding like a frog, but it's just kind of annoying. And he had so many other things going on, but they were just really supernatural stuff, but it wasn't happening in a good way. And so, he contacted me. He says, I don't know what to do about this, but, he said, and these people that have had the jab seem to be coming out of the woodwork, and they're like following me, and they're just like everywhere. And I could kind of see it psychically, and it was like zombies coming after him or something. And so I kind of tuned into this to see what exactly was causing it. And I was getting that he had 3 curses on him and an AI forced agreement. And so I listed them, and they were a little different than, it was like they were clear and concise, and 1, 2, 3, bam, you got it. And I'm like, well, that's kind of weird, but this is what they said. And they're all kind of alike. So I knew that they were kind of created by the same bunch of losers, right? And the first one said, you must take on others' poisons and suck it in, or you will die. And then it said, you are screwed. I'm like, well, that's new. So then I went to the next one, and it said, if you hear or connect to your guides and allies, you will die. You are screwed. And that was one of his other complaints. He says, I'm pretty sure they're there, but I can't hear anything. He says, I'm trying to get help. I can't hear anything they say. He says, I just feel lost and alone, and you can imagine how that would feel. So then the third one is, if you activate any of your superpowers to help yourself or others, you will die. And then, of course, the end was, you are screwed. And I just thought it was so pathetic, but so like all-encompassing altogether. You are screwed. It's like they were just pounding that in to try to get him to give up and give in and throw in the towel. And so what he's been working on, and it is helping, and with curses like this, you can't just do one little thing. You have to keep on it. If you don't think the people that the ones that put the curse on you didn't go, oh, I think I'll curse you. Curse. No, it doesn't go that way. They pound on it over and over and over and over again to make that curse like dig a rut in so you can't get out. So to think you can just snap your fingers and go, poof, I'm out, maybe that'll help sometime, but right now, and in this particular one, he has to do the spiral curse reversal ceremony on all of these. And when you do the spiral ceremonies, and we've kind of talked about this before, each time you do it, you get better, you get more proficient, and it makes it stronger, and you feel like you're in the driver's seat, and it just really is important to do at least 3. Now, this guy might have to do 6 or 9. I don't know how many he'll have to do. But he is getting some relief. I just talked to him this morning, and he says there's a little change. But then he had this AI forced agreement in him that said the same thing. The same thing as the curses. So they were kind of in cahoots. So he needs to go to that AI and revoke those agreements, which I think he's done one of those. I can't remember how many he's done. But in this situation, that's what you need to do. And I could not do this for him. This is something that he had to do for himself. And sometimes there's things that you can get help on, and other things it's like, it's kind of an inside job. You got to do it yourself. So I just wanted to put this out there for any of you that feel like you might have similar things, where, and all of these, the alternative is you will die and you are screwed. It's like you got to take poison into your body or you'll die. It's like, okay, well, if I take this poison, at least I'm not dead. It's like two bad options. They only give you two options. You can't hear your spirit guides or you'll die. It's like, well, it's really, really rough not hearing them, but I guess it's better than dying. And then, not activating your superpowers, which is what we came here to do. That's who we are. And what we came here to do is activate those superpowers and start taking on the Dark Lords and taking them out. And so just kind of think about this and maybe do some of your own spiral ceremonies and see if there's an AI in the mix and go do, rescind those agreements and see how that helps. Do you have any comments or anything, Nancy?
No, I've learned a lot. I think in his case, he probably does need to do 6 or 9, not just 3, because he's got the double whammy of the forced agreements and the spells. So,
yeah.
So lucky.
Yeah.
So wonderful that you uncovered this, because others might have similar.
Well, it is. And the thing is, as we link arms and tell each other stories, it's like, oh, yeah, I had that too. And you feel this camaraderie of, oh, I'm not alone. It's not just me. I'm not just some, lame whatever that can't get their life together. There's reasons for this. And so just kind of keep that in mind. And, maybe I'll write these down in the comment section of this video so that you can kind of have it there and see if you have something that's kind of like this. Force agreements, man, I have taken out hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of them. And, I've been doing it for like 20 years and I still find them. So it's not like you can just do 2 or 3 and you're all fit to go. You're more capable, but, and I still, get shove-ons on me like almost daily. And so you just have to keep taking that crap off and you get stronger. And now instead of taking, all day like it used to get a shove-on off of me, I just flick it like a fly or a mosquito and it's just poof, gone. So just know that you get better at it and it's not going to be horrendous for the rest of your life like this. But I tell you, if you don't, the alternative is not good. If you don't start taking charge and cleaning house on the inside and out, you're just going to keep doing what you're doing, and it's not going to be fun. So, and it's what is fun is to see how far you've come. When I think about how I have had, with the cryptos, I mean, those things would immobilize me like 2 or 3 times a month. And I'm thinking, oh no. And they do it for like days where I just be immobilized. And now when I feel them coming on, I'm like, screw you losers, up here's losers. I'm not buying it. And just poof. And I've gotten so many immunities to them, I can just smack them back. Now I did have some rashes on my arms. I think it came on a month and a half ago, and I was putting all this stuff, vinegar and my chicken spray and stuff on it, and it has helped. And then I had one of my HRT buddies, he found some things on me that I hadn't noticed before, and he took them off, and my arms are like, I would say 95% better. And they used to, they would itch, and they had these big, I looked like my arms had leprosy, like really, or like I had like measles and chicken pox all at the same time. And it was miserable, you scratch and then it makes the itch worse, and so I tried and put vinegar on it, and that would like sting, but they're, like I say, like 95% better. And there's a part of me that thought, oh man, these things are never going to go away, and what if it goes up on my neck and my face and down my legs? And I'm like, no, this is crypto stuff. You got through the other crypto stuff, because I've had something similar before. Usually it hits me on my legs and then it kind of goes up. But like, I don't know, 6 years ago, I had it like really, really, really bad. And that was before I got my immunities to them. And I'd say I'm doing pretty good. So my advice is to you is just go, okay, whatever this is, I'm going to get immunities to this, and I'm going to be smarter and tougher and stronger on the way out, on the other side of this. And I just want to say, too, I had a little chat with one of the HRT people that was immobilized, and it was shutting their kidneys down. It was shutting a lot of her internal organs down, besides muscle spasms and headaches, and the list just went on. And she asked me yesterday, she said, did this do permanent damage, to my kidneys and stuff? Am I, is this, what can I expect? And I thought, well, maybe I was thinking 2 or 3%. And when I scanned it, I was getting, no, heck no. She's going to be stronger. Every organ that she had affected by this attack is going to be stronger. And I thought, well, sure, of course, that's what needs to happen. And when I told her that, I said, so you just keep, telling your avatar that you got immunities to this, and you are going to be stronger and better than you were before. And so I think that really helped perk her up, and it helped me to see that these things can be, when we flip the tables on these boogers, instead of being a stumbling block, it makes us stronger. It's like, yeah, lifting weights is hard, but after you've done it for a while, you get stronger. So it's kind of the same kind of thing. Do you have any comments or anything, Nancy?
Yeah, I was wondering if she gets immunities, and I was through this too, but not as bad as that. Does that help the rest of the people in the HRT, or just our own avatars?
There is some that helps the entire system. Indigo's like helps everybody. Just the fact that you overcame it is like the 100 monkey thing. It's like, oh yeah, you did this to me, and guess what? I didn't stay down. Yeah, you thought you were killing me, and sometimes I thought I was dying myself, but I turned that around. And the more of us that do that will give that 100 monkey energy to the rest of the benevolent people on the planet that have been hit like this. Mm-hmm. And I say benevolent because it's like you got to do your work. If you're not a nice person, and if you don't have, love and compassion and stuff for people and animals and plants and stuff, you're not going to get the same inner strength and super psychic energy like purity. You cannot access the higher levels of purity, the diamond purity, unless your purity level is up. You can't be a mean so-and-so and think, oh, I'm going to get some purity now, so I can be really all that in a bag of chips. It doesn't work that way. It has to be earned. It's not given to you. You have to earn it. Does that kind of make sense to you?
Yeah.
It's not, And so if somebody out there is having a challenge and you've done the 100 monkey thing and you've gotten through it, then yes, you can broadcast that out to all of those who qualify. If you qualify, then you're going to get more of this help than if you're just not doing anything and don't care and you're all self-centered. And that's the way it should be. You know, we're working hard for the abilities that we have, and activating them and learning how to use them. And if somebody just said, "Oh, here you go," and you don't have any wherewithal or intelligence and wisdom to use them, that's not helping our team at all, and that's not how it works. The Dark Lords think that they can give stuff to their other Dark Lord buddies so that they can have power and authority through their loose connections and all of the crappy things that they do. It's like, nobody's, you have to qualify. And that's one thing that I think is really scaring the Dark Lords, is that they know that they will never qualify for high levels of purity. And so, yeah, they're pretty much, well,
screwed.
Put it in their words, screwed. So then another thing came on my radar, and I got this message: take back all the copyrights, RIGHT and WRITES, all of the copyrights to your brain and your avatar. I thought, yeah, that makes sense that somebody else has the copyrights to my stuff, to the things that I've been thinking, you know, the maybe ideas that I've had. I know that I've had a lot of ideas, like I had a schematic, and I tried to get somebody to make it for me, and they said they couldn't do it, and I'm like, come on, it's not rocket science. And it was just this, like a face mask to go over the heat lamps so the chickens wouldn't get burnt, because they're all cooped up there, and in the winter we have these heat lamps, and they're always getting their tails. The ones that they have out there are just like two little round half of circles in front of the globe, and it's like, how's that gonna help anything? And I took the schematics, and I went into a place that builds stuff like this, and they looked at it for a while. I said, oh, we can't do it. And I said, why? And he said, well, it could get real hot. And I'm like, well, yeah. And he says, and then it would, heat up and it might melt. And I'm like, for goodness sakes, the back of a heat lamp gets hot. And yes, the front would get a little hotter, but, surely you can find some kind of something that would not get too hot and melt. And so I just shook my head and thought, well, forget that. So then now somebody else made them, and they're out there. It's just that I couldn't do it. And so I've had several things that happen where I have this idea, and then, no, you can't do that. So I feel, and I didn't realize this till just now, that I feel like somebody had taken my copyrights to these little inventions, and somebody else took them. So what you can do is, and this can be done several ways. You can do, a forced agreement thing. You can maybe do a implant removal, see who's got the copyrights, just kind of figure that out. I had to have help on mine. I actually, Zealok, Tesla's brother, came in, and he had to dismantle the copyrights that were on me, and the retaliation. It was like detonating a bomb. And so it was kind of a little tricky. So if you have something that you think is a little tricky, call on some of our allies that you feel like would be suitable for whatever it is you've got, and go down the list in Cryogenetics to all of our amazing allies for help on whatever it is you're doing to take back the copyrights of your brain and your avatar. And it will start making a difference. So there you go. Any questions or comments, Nancy?
I'd just like to add that we have many more allies since the publication of the book, which was, July last year?
Into July, 1st of August, yes.
Uh-huh. And when you were speaking, I was thinking about a brand new one called Kiki, who's a donkey that died recently. And she's now an ally. And I thought that if you knew about Kiki, she could have kicked down those barriers for you. Because that's what she does best. And
do you know anything else about Kiki? This backstory on her?
Well, she came from the same place as Pingu, the plasmaroo, and also our very latest one from yesterday, the Peace Pidgey, which I guess I could talk about. It's a certain farm in Canada near Ottawa. That's all I can remember off the top of my head.
Well, we'll talk about that because that Peace Pidgey is the antithesis of the little shitsky pigeon that I used to have on my farm. So we'll talk about the Peace Pidgey and then the one that I had. And if anybody's seen the videos on my YouTube channel about the pigeon, you'll go, yeah, that was a little shitsky. So
the opposite of shitsky Pidgey. The Peace
that's
Pidgey.
right.
Okay, well, I have that one I could read hot off the press. As I said, HRT member wrote, I found an injured pigeon 2 days ago, so that would be the 4th, right? Mm-hmm. He was gray and purple. I brought him to the Wild Bird Center near my home, and sadly, he passed yesterday afternoon, so that would have been the 5th, right? Mm-hmm. Well, guess what? He is in the UV realm, and his name is Peace Pidgey. When you connect with him, there is an incredible sense of peace that comes within your being. Amika assisted with the transition. She says, thank you, Amika, exclamation points. And I added something at the end that I'm not sure how accurate it is, but I added the dove, Peace Pidgey, knows how to wage peace with a flap of his wings. He can flip peace upon those who wage war.
I love it. And you know what? I
Does
think
that
you're
ring
exactly
true?
Right. I think you're absolutely right with that.
Sometimes I have trouble discerning whether I create.
Well, no, because I'm seeing it and I'm feeling it. And that Peace Pidgey, it's like flick your wing and flip that's like flipping the tables. Yeah, it's like no, we're gonna rage peace instead of war.
Right.
And so I really like that, and I think
he flaps his wings and he flips peace.
That's right.
So do you want to talk about
that's a really good place to kind of end this series this time?
Okay. All right. You don't want to talk about your shitsky Pidgey?
My shit pigeon, little shit. What? Okay. Let's see. I guess we could. This guy, he came to me. One of the neighbors, he fell out up the rafters in the barn or something and broke his wing, and so she asked me if I would take him in, and so I did, and I nursed him back to health, and I got his wing fixed, and whenever I'd pick him up, I don't know if it was a him or a she, whenever I'd pick Pidgey up, she'd start biting me, and just like a little jerk, and so after a while, I wanted to see if he could fly very good, and so I took her way to the far end of our property, and then what does she do? She goes right back to to where her little pen was with the chickens. Well, she would also she would pick on the other ones. It's like, and we had a chicken here then that was, her name was Tara, and we called her that because she reminded me of a pterodactyl. She was a rescue, and she would sit on the back row of that coop, and nobody dared get on the back row with her. And she'd scream and howl, and and she was just kind of a little vicious, and so nobody messed with her. Well, this stupid pigeon would go from pen to pen and just raise mayhem wherever he went. And he'd go in there and would pick fights with her. I'm like, are you stupid? I mean, that is like the stupidest thing. And so this went on and on. And it really upset me, though, when the pigeon started going after Sweet Cheeks. Because whenever I go in there, she was chasing Sweet Cheeks around. That really upset me. So anyway, we had somebody visiting here, another HRT girl, very psychic, and she was watching what Pidgie was doing, and she we were out in the dragon garden, and she got right down in her face, and she said, "You better stop doing that, or karma's gonna get you." And Pidgie's like, "Oh yeah, whatever, and went off and did some more mayhem. It's like, yeah, whatever. Well, that night when I was putting her to bed, I couldn't find Pidgie. I had Pidgie in her own little box. Okay, I didn't let her sleep with the rest of them. Okay, she was in her own box. Couldn't find her anywhere. And then I went out to kind of the back behind the fence, and I saw all these feathers, and then I saw some blood, and I thought, what the heck? And then clear further away by the fence, there was her carcass. And Pidgie, it's like whoever killed it had taken all the feathers off her cap, off her crown, and instead of eating the guts, which a lot of them would do, some of the birds of prey would, either take her away or eat her guts. There was just a little bit down by the neck and the throat, and the rest was left empty, but feathers all over the place. And what I suspect was that, and people think I'm nutser than heck, but when you see that, I'll have to look and see if I can find a picture of the carcass somewhere. But you can see, and there was no face, no eyes, no nothing, just a beak and nothing around the neck, which was odd because if it was another bird, they'd kind of go for the guts. And what I think it was is one of our benevolent pterodactyls that came out of the immortal portal. Now, maybe I'm nuts, maybe that's not what happened, but that was just kind of what I was feeling was happening, is that, karma came and took care of that Pidgie because she was raising mayhem. And it was interesting because we didn't hear anything. Usually if there's a squabble like that, if they were if all the chickens were going after him, which they never did, they never ganged up on him. So I don't know. So then after that, everything was just zen and calm and serene. It was just very, very interesting. And so, I tell this story because this Pidgie was the antithesis of the peace Pidgie, okay? This was the chaos Pidgie. So, yeah, that's my story.
So maybe the picky Pidgie was rehabbed and became the peace Pidgie. No?
I don't think so. I think Pidgie went to rehab, but I don't think
he didn't come out the other end.
Probably doing time somewhere. in pigeon rehab, trying to rehab that pigeon. So yeah, that's just kind of a funny story. But
yeah, thank you.
It was just funny about this woman that said, if you don't shape up, karma's going to get you. And boom, a few hours later, look what happened. so, yeah, we'll have to have more of that girl around. We need to get her telling the Dark Lords if they don't shape up, karma's going to get them. Maybe that will help.
Mm-hmm.
I'll have to write to her and tell her.
It's a message for everyone.
That's right. Shape up, or karma's going to get you. So anyway, I think we're way out of time.
Okay.
So
just like to thank everyone. Thank you for listening, and please watch for our next Inside Insights, where who knows, and by the way, who knows everything, he's another brand new ally, where something momentous might again be revealed, along with more information about our allies that are not in the book, that are here to join us on our mission during this endgame phase. You won't want to miss Inside Insights number 10. Bye now.
All righty. Bye-bye.